Ricardo Hernandez Medrano, most famously known by his artistic name of Makabelico, is a rapper from Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas, whose aggressiveness and bold style of making music caused him to get extorted and ultimately get his music removed from important platforms like Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Music. The only way you can listen to his music nowadays is if you have it downloaded personally. Makabelico was an interesting rapper to me that I never truly liked because I believed he had too much profanity in his songs. Makabelico was an interesting artist to me because when I first heard him around 2016 when I was living in Mexico, I had never heard an artist sing or rap with such boldness like he was doing in his songs. He would make music to Cartel del Noreste, and I believe those songs were just bad because those people at that time, they were doing horrible stuff to people, and they still do at this point. They still have a little bit of power, but not like they used to do. But they're terrible people. They're like one of the worst cartels that have been around. But let's get into Makabelico's story of how he got around these people and why he ultimately got removed. Makabelico was born and raised in Nuevo Laredo, Tamaulipas. He was born in 1989, which makes him 36 or 37 at this time. He grew up in an environment that was rough, and his city was also controlled by El Cartel del Noreste. That city would also have the presence of Los Zetas, who he will later in his life will write songs to, both of them. He started his first songs when he was 14. At that time, he was writing freely and mostly for fun around his friends. He will later move on to make more professional music and dedicate his songs to the violence that was ongoing on his city. As he was getting more fame and bigger, he started to get more aggressive and would also dedicate songs to individuals. And in those songs, he would describe them most of the time as aggressive people who did horrible crimes to society, and will even name drop them or drop their codes that they will use in their organizations. Makabelico went from being a rapper who was talking about the streets to now dedicating and writing songs to people, and how he got this information about their codes or how they were in person is to be in question. Makabelico maybe knew from the start that he needed to be smart about his character, so Makabelico decided to always wear a balaclava mask or a ski mask so they don't identify him, and his identity will be unknown till this day. There are some alleged pictures of him that I will put on the screen, but they're not verified by nobody. Makabelico maybe knew that the songs he was creating at that time were dangerous and could potentially cost him his life. The songs that blew him up the most in his careers, that got him to reach new heights, were about this type of people and about crime. These songs were Equipado para la Guerra, Soy del Cartel del Noreste, and El Memito, songs dedicated to dangerous criminal life. Another one dedicated to a cartel and was idolizing them, and another one dedicated to a person who was not no person to idolize. Eventually, he gained enough fame that Ángel del Villar, owner of Del Records, reached out to him and signed them to Del Records. This brought him more fame and more attention and more money to make better quality music. This also got him in the eyes of the authorities because of his controversial lyrics and the theme of music that he was making. He stopped making that type of music and also stopped dedicating as much music to these people who had this horrible lifestyle. However, he will drop songs to them here and there. Eventually, he opened up on why he made and still had to make music to some cartel figures. He said in an interview, "I live in Tamaulipas, so if they come to my house and tell me to make a song about them, I have to. What else can I do?" And we know the answer if he refuses to make music to them that might take him out. But in this interview where he somewhat expressed his fear of him not making music, caused him to be put on the eyes of the US government, because now they believed he had relations with those type of organizations, which maybe he did. But he didn't have them because he wanted to. It was more of a he had to. Makabelico kept making music after that interview. However, he was attacked by the US government like no other artist has ever been. Right now, Makabelico is having a rough time. His music is no longer available because it's blocked by the United States and all platforms, with the accusations that he supports the cartel del Noreste, which leaves him vulnerable, because even if he did support the cartel del Noreste with money, he is in a position where either he does it or he would be putting his family in great danger. Now he can no longer do what he always liked doing and what was basically his career. They took his career away. He is still signed to Del Records, but what does that benefit them when even when he is a feature in a song, that song automatically gets blocked? My assumption is he will eventually get dropped by the label and have a harder time. The US and Mexican government are making this musician who only made art suffer, both financially and mentally. Even though I was bashing his music a little bit and believe that his music is not the best for the audience, I still believe he should not be treated this way. Makabelico was an artist who was trying to change his image towards the end of his career. He was writing love songs and songs about the hustle. The US government should not target musicians like that, especially since we are a country who believes about freedom of speech. In that case, the US government should focus about drill rap or other type of rappers in the United States that have extremely horrible lyrics, and sometimes they actually commit these lyrics about crime that they are talking about. These rappers that we have in the United States are way more dangerous and sometimes do it freely and not because they're getting extorted like this Mexican rapper known as Makabelico was. And the Mexican government let down yet another citizen of its own country by not protecting its community. This shows us even the famous people are targeted by criminal organizations in Mexico.